Campaigners trying to save a 600-year-old oak tree in Peterborough have described the decision to chop it down as appalling.
Well, the City Council say the roots of the historic tree have already damaged 2 houses in Bretton, and if nothing is done, more homes will be at risk. Protesters say there are alternatives to felling the tree, but officials argued that would cost too much and mean there'd be no money left over for new trees. Well, our reporter Matthew Hudson is there for us this evening. Matt.
Well, if this mighty oak behind me is indeed 600 years old, then in 1422 it would have been an acorn. That would, of course, have been the year in which Henry V died and his baby son became Henry VI. It would have been a time when Peterborough would have had a population of perhaps less than 1,000 people, and the Bretton township where I'm standing, well, it would have been a tiny, insignificant village in the middle of ancient woodland of which the tree is one of the last remaining examples. But now it may have reached the end of the road because, as you say, the City Council has been told by insurers representing some of the houses here that its roots are causing a problem with foundations. The City Council says because it owns and is responsible for the tree, it has to rectify that, and the only cost-effective way it has is to chop the tree down. A little while ago, I spoke to the head of environmental services at the council.
To get rid of the liability, the only way of doing that for the council is to fell the tree. We've gone through every avenue that we could possibly have to discount that. But obviously, I think the biggest one, and I think the protesters have identified it, is to put a root barrier in between this tree and these houses. Unfortunately, the insurance company won't agree to that at all. So it's just really, really a sad day that we're going to have to fell this tree next week.
But a lot of other residents here, well, they agree with the old American songwriter Phil Harris, who wrote the immortal Woodsman, Spare That Tree. They say the oak is an important part of Bretton's heritage, and they want the council to think again and be more creative about its future.
The tree, however, being removed will remove the council's liability, and it closes the book and finishes it, and means that nobody can ever come back and blame the tree again. Previous councils put a TPO on this in the 70s and thought that it was an asset. This council described it as a nuisance, an ancient tree as a nuisance. How's that for the environmental capital of the Fens?
Well, the council says that the tree will be chopped down one day next week. It's not saying which day that will be, but the campaigners haven't given up. They say they've still got 1 or 2 tricks up their sleeve and hope to persuade the council to put the axe back in the woodshed and let the tree live.